looking back at, it's a surreal moment, and at the same time, you can, you do believe that you've won it, or because you did win it, but because of all the hard work that you've put in, but also that your coach has put into you. So, even sometimes I still think about it like, oh, wow. Yeah, I am the Australian champion. That's pretty cool.
Welcome back, everyone, to Fighters of Perth, the show where we aim to get to know our fighters here a little bit better, their story, their journey, and hopefully make a new friend along the way. My guest with me today, who I'm very excited to have on, is Nathan, the dreaded one, Embleton. Thank you for coming on, man.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for having me on the show like this. It's a privilege. I'm excited. So, it should be some good fun.
Yeah, man. I'm really excited to have you down. So just correct me if I'm wrong. Around about 20 fights at the moment. Got a WBC Australian title, and the WBC one, the one we all love. Got the WBC title, a few state titles under your belt, WBC, and also Muay Thai Australia state title. Is there anything I'm missing?
Yes, no, that's correct. Yep. So, the WBC is the nice shiny belt that everyone likes. And then, that's the Australian title. And then I hold a WBC state title and an amateur MTA state title. So that's correct. Yep.
Awesome. So help everyone, for anyone that might not know, like your story. How did you find out about Muay Thai? How did you get started, and how did we get here?
I had my first taste of Muay Thai. I think it was back in 2015, 2016. I was doing my personal training course through Aura Fitness, and part of doing that course, we had a chance to give Muay Thai a shot. So, it's like part of the course, if you want to join in the sessions at the end, join in. So I was like, yeah, why not give it a shot? Fighting always interested me. Like even just movies and just the concept of fighting, always found exciting. Yeah. Just gave it a shot and did that for about a year, just on and off, just mucking around through the course. And then, kind of forgot about it, dropped it, finished high school. And what really got me back into it was my father had passed away when I was 18, and I ended up down spiraling in a really bad way. I'm sure there's a few people out there who would have heard my story. I was doing a lot of bad things, bad habits, and turned back to Muay Thai and used Muay Thai as my outlet and path to try and get back on track, and haven't really looked back since.
If you don't mind me, I'd like to hear a little bit more about that story. You said a few people heard about your story. Was Muay Thai how you got back on track, or were you kind of on the way back and then you just started getting to Muay Thai from there?
No, so I kind of had to pull my head in. I had family and friends tell me, like what they were thinking about me. I'm like, okay, yeah, this isn't the person I am. And kind of just had to do a full 360 and then do it for the people that I loved. And I thought, what better way than to get in shape, learn to fight, have fun, and focus my energy on something, I guess, healthy in a way. So, I actually, funny story is, I actually went Muay Thai shopping. So I actually went to the Pit, and I did a free trial there. And nothing against the Pit, world-class gym, great people, but it wasn't for me, that vibe or that feel. So then did a bit of shopping, and then I thought, why not turn back to where I started? And then me and Shane, my coach, we connected and kicked it off since then. And haven't looked back, and I don't think I ever will. So.
No, it's cool, and it's cool when you can find a club that you really gel with. Like that's the biggest thing. You got all these great options, great clubs, the Pit, Riddlers, Cal. You got all these guys, and obviously your club as well. Yeah. Sometimes the biggest difference is just how you feel when you go in there. How do you connect with the people? So it's pretty cool that you found a club that you had that.
No, 100%. Yeah, no, I've definitely felt welcome at home, and no egos in the gym. That's the first thing every time I get new people in. Introduce yourself straight away. No egos. Help them around, and I'm sure every other gym does that too. But it was just my feeling at the time when I went to that. When I went back, So
yeah. And when you went back into it, did you go into it knowing that you wanted to compete in Muay Thai, or is that something that after you started training, getting into it, you're like, I'm pretty good at this. Like, let me have a crack at it.
I think if my memory serves right, I kept pestering Shane. I said, I want to fight. Like, when can I fight? And it'd be like once a month, every month, he'd be pestering him, like, when can I fight? So he ended up training me for a year, and he said, yep, you're ready to fight. So I stuck it out, trained for a year, and I had my first fight. didn't go my way, obviously, first fight. Actually, my first couple of fights didn't go my way. And then, it was a big learning curve. And then since then, just continue to work on our craft. And, I just genuinely enjoy it. I enjoy fighting. I enjoy the crowd. I feed off the crowd in the fights.
Yeah.
That's a big energy for me. And, just the passion alone. Yeah.
So you were one of those kids in the beginning that were like, when I say kids, young guys, just say, like, as soon as you come in, I want to fight. And the kid trains like, let's just get good first, and then we can look at fighting.
Yeah.
So, you're that guy.
Yeah.
That's cool. At least you're passionate straight away, man. So, because I think a good coach is always looking for that, like who wants it, and who's willing to train hard for it. So I'm sure you saw those qualities in you.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was the hard work that you saw that I'd stuck it out and pursued it. And to this day, when work doesn't get in the way, I'm always at the gym. So
How would you best describe your style? Your style, obviously, is unique, right? This is what kind of what you're famous for. Is how would you best describe your style for anyone here that's just getting to Muay Thai that hasn't seen you fight, hasn't gone to any of these live shows?
Well, it's definitely aggressive, that's for sure. It's definitely high-paced, very. You need to have good cardio, very cardio-intense-based as well. This training style is actually my coach Shane's training style that he had developed himself over the years because he was always sparring his coach, Malcolm Canny, and so he had to come up with a way on had to come up on a way to beat that style of fighting because it was more Muay Thai style,
Traditional.
But with a little bit of karate in it because he has a background of karate and stuff like that. So then over time he created his style and developed it over the years, and then that's what he's taught me. And it's just what I can say is just a very fast-paced kind of style, a lot of pressure, and trying to not give him any room. I think that's the best way to describe the style is aggressive and fast-paced and violent.
Yeah. So it's kind of like matches the name of the gym, right?
Yes.
So your style is very much inspired by your coach's style.
100%, Yep. We developed the base when I first started, which was his style. It was, it's like my foundation. So if trouble hits the fan, I've always got a base I can rely on. If it comes to it, like I can be violent. Like I've got that pressure. I've got this, and we used to have a boxing coach in the gym as well and tidy up my hand. So it got that as well. Got a bit of boxing as well in there, along with the a different style of Muay Thai.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier about the cardio, right? So This is actually funny that you mentioned that because something that always comes up when myself and someone else is talking about your fights is the fact man, how does this guy have such strong cardio? Is this something that it's a result of the way you train, or is it something that's you're kind of born with and that was just cultivated by the way you train?
No, definitely not something that you're born with.
Yeah.
Because when I've had breaks in between fights or training and that, and you lose it a lot faster than you gain it. It's something you have to actually work on. It's obviously to do with the training because it's high intensity. It's always high intensity, but also the homework you do outside of training. So there's homework I do outside of training, which helps improve my cardio. So don't want to tell all my secrets, but a lot of
share one. I know you want to keep your secrets, but what's maybe one thing that you reckon's helped a lot?
Which one should I give up? No. Look, I'll probably say the best one, and you're lucky I'm saying this, is sled sprints. Sled sprints. So how do you do? Because there's different ways you can do sled sprints. Like how do you do the sled sprints? I mix it up sometimes. I would say one variation is put on, say about 15, 20 kilos. So it's not a whole lot, but you also got the weight of the sled that you're pushing as well. And put about 15, 20 kilos on and smash out as much as I can with that weight, then drop the weight off. Again, smash out as much as I can with that weight, drop the weight off till I get to zero, till I can't do any more, and then reset and do that again 3, 4, 5 times.
Wow. And so when you say sprint, you're sprinting 50 meters at 100 meters and just no break drop the weight, go back?
Yeah, good question. I actually haven't even measured that out myself.
Just a rough guesstimate, pretty much.
Yeah, probably about, I'd say, the distance would be like up and down in total. Yeah, probably about 20 meters up and down total.
Yeah, wow.
So it's short interval, fast-paced training.
Yeah, and obviously it's working because the kind of pace that you can set on your fights is, it's phenomenal, man. It's really hard because like the guys you're fighting are fit themselves, right?
Oh,
yeah,
definitely.
so it's like
and conditioned.
Exactly. Yeah. So you must be doing something like there's got to be something doing something different that we can learn from. So and talking about your fights, your I guess I don't know if it's your most recent fight. Was it against Leo? Most recent fight, the one in the 4-man?
Yes. I fought Leo first, and then I apologize in advance. I'm probably not going to pronounce his name, but also I think Prakatak or some. If I'm Chaosok, I'm sorry. I apologize.
That's I think it's Probswek, but I'm not too sure how to say it. So that fight that you had with Leo, obviously you won that fight, and that itself was a rematch, right? Because you had fought him a while back for the ISCA state title.
That's correct.
Right.
I think it was last year. No, not last year. Oh, I think it might have been last year in November, if not the year before. It was in November. It was it was the last fight of the year. I took that fight on 1 week's notice, and had 1 week of training camp, and obviously I wasn't prepared to the fullest I have been in the past. So I was like, why not? It's an opportunity. I'll never turn down opportunities. I pride myself on that, taking fights on short notice. And it didn't go my way on that night, but it was a good fight. I think what threw me off a little bit on that night was it was the first time fighting in an octagon.
Yeah, it was a caged one, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't with the small gloves. It was still the normal Muay Thai gloves.
Yeah, normal. I think 8-ounce gloves they were. Yeah, so still the box gloves, 8 ounces. But what threw me off was, the environment, being an octagon, not being able to cut my opponent off. Yeah, because I felt like I was continually trying to chase Leo down.
Right. Yeah, you
so
can't
he
use
used
the
it to
corners.
his advantage, which was good. It was a smart play by him. So we came back learning some things from that and what we can improve on, and it was a learning curve. So
well, I guess if there's any fights you have in the cage in the future, at least you'll be prepared now because I'm pretty sure your club's got a cage as well now.
Yeah. Recently got a cage as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can practice in that, get ready for that.
100%. Yeah. It's a different feel. It's a different feel because you're just so used to a ring, a square.
Yeah.
But
it's a whole different game, and I don't know if you guys were clinching with your back on it. I don't know, could you use it? Were you allowed to clinch and actually push the back against the cage?
See, that's one thing is I'm still learning the rules. I don't know all the rules, but I think you can. I think you can. Yeah, I don't see why not.
Yeah. Well, do you remember doing that in your fight? Did it happen? Were you ever like clinching with him and resting against the cage, or you can't?
I don't think we were ever pinned up on the cage. No,
you're just keeping it where you like to, just in the
it
middle
was
striking.
either close pocket, or it was like me trying to chase Leo down to. I like to fight close range. That's my style. So
just suffocate them.
Kind of try and drown them a little bit. Yeah.
And so you say you took that fight on 1 week's notice. Was the fact that you could prepare for the 4-man, was that the biggest difference you think? And obviously not being in an octagon, was that the biggest difference this time that you think got you the victory? Yeah,
definitely preparation. Yeah, we were a lot more ready. We were more prepared. I think we had 3-4 weeks preparation on that one. So we would. I'd definitely say it 90% came down to preparation, and the octagon would be about, I'd say 10% because we learned from that in the past. So.
You say 3-4 weeks, like that's a long time. For most people, that's a very short time to prepare. Are you always just doing like really short camps, and are you just always fit outside of camp? Or is that like the usual prep time you do, like about 4 weeks for a fight?
Well, to be honest, we don't really get much notice anymore to fight. So I kind of stay on top of it myself and try and keep semi-fit, because nowadays, it's been so hard for us to get a fight that when a fight does come up, it's 2 weeks notice, 3 weeks notice, or had a fight pop up earlier this year and it was 1 day's notice. I'm like, man, I'm not fit enough to fight the next day. It was literally, I got the phone call Friday and said, Shane always runs it past me, and I said I really want to, but I don't think that I'd be ready to fight in 1 day.
I think you got to be smart as well. It's pretty cool that you're happy to take fights on like 1 week notice, and it's pretty hardcore. But you also got to be smart sometimes. I think like 1 day is.
It was a bit too much. I was like, it'd be cool to say, I took a fight on 1 day's notice, but I was not, physically prepared to do that.
Yeah. And you also had another fight. Was there another fight recently as well that fell through? More recently, or was that the one?
Yeah, so I've been in 2 fight camps recently, and had all been fallouts or pullouts. So I was supposed to fight on the most recent last domination. I'm pretty sure I was supposed to fight Alfie Pierce, the UK champion, undefeated. He pulled out due to injury, and then we tried getting a rematch with Gareth Smith, who beat me last year on points in a 3-rounder, and we offered up even half my purse because his fighter pulled out on the same show, so it would be in a perfect matchup, rematch. We both don't have a fight, but didn't want to fight, so can't force someone into fighting you. And then we had this, I forgot his name, but a dude from Spain that the promotion was looking at putting on for me, but again, he didn't want to fight either. So on that one fight show, we had 3 opponents. One was a pullout and 2 didn't want to fight.
It's been very difficult for you to find fights, man.
It has.
It's been, why do you think that is? Why do you think it's difficult for you to find fights?
I don't want to sound arrogant or obnoxious, but I definitely think it's our fighting style. I reckon our fighting style definitely puts a lot of people off with the pressure, the pace, and the violence. And I think anyone that's watched my fights, even my losses, that it's just going to be a hard fight. It's not going to be an easy fight. We're both going to come out injured and sore, cut up, or bruised, or we're both going to be limping out. I think it's this fighting style and the fact of we're definitely going to get hurt in this fight. I think.
It's no one's having a good time in that, except for you maybe if you like to fight like that. But maybe people don't like that. It's actually interesting because I guess there's 2 takes on it. Initially, when I heard that people were refusing to fight you, or just like I guess my idea was like, well, we do Muay Thai because we understand Muay Thai to be essentially one of the most effective striking styles, if not the most effective striking style, and it's known for its toughness. So it's like, if you want to be the best, you got to fight the best. And all right, fine, it might not look pretty, it might not look like Muay Thai, but if he's beating you with it, then you're essentially, how do I put this? Yeah, you shouldn't be afraid to fight anyone. Like, if you believe in your style, it should work against everyone, right?
Yep.
And so I was like, it's pretty bad that they won't fight you. And then someone said something to me, and I get it. I get it. It's kind of like, you got a very unique style, right? And these people are training years and years and years to fight a certain style and to be good at a certain style versus another style, right?
Yeah.
So now they spent all this time to get good at that. To then now fight you, they got to completely change the way they train to accommodate to be, because they can't just fight you like you said the traditional way, because your style is kind of created to combat that. To
combat that style.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, all right, I've got to stop the way I train Muay Thai, which could essentially impact a fight after this, because now I've taken a good chunk of my time to get ready for one type of fight and then now go into another type. Yep. So I get that, and I can respect that, because it's like, all right, well, I want to be fighting, most of the time I'll be fighting someone who's doing Muay Thai, who has a Muay Thai style, so I want to be good at that. But I can also say it's like, like I said earlier, it's like you want to be the best, right? You got to be able to beat anyone, especially with Muay Thai. So I'm a bit divided. Can you see both sides of that?
Sorry, say both sides of what? Sorry,
like both sides. Like, one side's like, the one aspect is like, like I'll fight anyone. I'll fight anyone anywhere. I don't care about your style. And then the other side is like, well, it might not be smart to do that because I'm trained to be very good at a specific thing.
Yep.
And by going off the path to fight you, that could be impacting a future fight.
Yeah, well, like the saying goes, fighters fight.
True. Yeah.
Fighters fight. I can definitely see that side of the story. But
at the end of the day, fighters fight.
Yeah, fighters fight. And at the end of the day, I don't consider myself an athlete, not at all. I consider myself as a fighter, and that's what I feel like, that a lot of these Muay Thai fighters are athletes because they want to pick their fights. They don't want to they don't want to fight not anybody. You know, they're like, oh, I want to fight this and this and this, and I think that's the problem I'm having at the moment. And it's just a sucky situation, but at the same time, you can't force it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least I think there's still some people who are willing to fight, like you said, even though it gone through. Matt Daisel still wants to fight. He still wants to have that third fight because I think you guys are one apiece each as well.
Yeah. We've been pestering him a little bit, trying to get a trilogy out. That would be good fun, I reckon, because both fights were tough for both of us. I think we push each other when me and Matt fight. I think we push each other to our best, and it's definitely a crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, future fights, is there anything that you've got booked at the moment? Anything, so you're just waiting. You're just waiting for the next opportunity.
Funny you say, yeah, so after that last domination pull-out, I was actually supposed to fight on the 5th of November in Melbourne on a promotion called Best of the Best. And I was supposed to fight the Melbourne and Oceanic champion, but he pulled out as well due to injury. And now we're focusing on the first Saturday of December. I'm not quite sure the date. And we're fighting. Once again, I apologize. Prakatak from Kasok, or I'm sorry, but I'm not good with pronunciation, but we're focusing on that fight at the moment.
Fighting him.
Yes, yeah, and that's a 5-rounder fight, and it's I think for the MAD title belt. So
right.
Yeah. Really looking forward to it. Got my work cut out for me. And yeah, I won't be as nervous for this fight because I had versed him earlier this year. So. And
that was the one for the 4-man that you lost essentially. If you'd beaten him, you would have won the 4-man tournament. But that's the one that you lost against. Yeah.
And I don't want to make excuses, but man, me and Leo, he's a tough fight as well. So I had a really tough fight before fighting.
It takes it out of you for sure.
Yeah, tough boy as well. So after that fight, I was actually urinating blood after Leo's fight. Yeah, and I had a busted arm and leg going into fighting Prakatak. And just put me off my game a little bit. But, you learn and you just got to push through. Yeah.
Just on that, like having 2 fights, how different does the second fight? Because, I've never had 2 fights, right? So I actually don't know. Like, obviously you feel a certain way you walk into your first fight. Is the second fight, do you feel less nervous? Is there less nerves? Do you feel, because adrenaline helps dampen the pain when you're fighting that first fight, do you feel the pain more the second fight? Like, what's the biggest differences between having just one fight a night and having 2 fights in one night?
I think the biggest difference is, especially if you had a really hard first fight and you got to fight an hour later, your body cools down, the soreness kicks in, the adrenaline's not going anymore. So then you're like, okay, yep, my arm's busted, my leg's busted, my head's sore. And then to try and shut that out and stay strong and, okay, I got to fight in an hour's time. Like, there's no time to be thinking about this. And for me, the nerves, actually, because it was my first Thai fight, they were actually a little bit more nervous to fight the Thai than I was to fight Leo. And I'm not sure because I've also fought Leo before, so that might have helped as well. So I knew what I was in for. Again, I won't be as nervous to fight this Thai dude as I was the first time because I know what I'm in for. And
know what to expect.
Yeah, he cut me up, I think, 3-4 times on my face. And I felt like he did give me his best shots, and I was still standing at the end. So, I reckon I'll be more prepared this time.
And what do you think you'll do different in your preparation for him?
What I would do different.
If there's anything you would do different.
Not be nervous. I'll still train, still stick to my regular training regime. And, sometimes there's things that both Shane and I do pick up that certain opponents do, and we'll try and work how to avoid or counter those certain things, or how we can adapt to those certain striking styles or moves. And, we'll just little tweaks here and there, but everything still pretty much stays the same. Yep.
Talking about rematches, the WBC Australian title, which you won, I think it was last year that you won it.
Yes.
Against Kian. I'm not going to try to say his last name, I'm not going to bother. But
Lougheed. I think it's Kian Lougheed.
Lougheed, yeah. I thought it was like, I don't want to butcher it. But your fight against Kian, that was also a rematch. You've had quite a few rematches, right? So that was also a rematch.
Yeah,
but you won both. You won both of these fights. With your fight where you won the state title, I'm sorry, not the state title, the Australian title, how did it feel winning against, even though you've beaten him before, how did it feel, obviously winning the Australian title and probably the most sought out belt as well, and also against a very prestigious club like the Pit, who's obviously have a huge list of champions. Surely that must have felt quite exhilarating.
It did. No, it was a very surreal moment for a little while. Like at one point you can't believe that you won it, but then at the same time you can, because like you look back at all the hard work and the rounds that you put in, and also like it's not, even though it's as much as an individual sport, it's, in my eyes, for me at least, it's it's a team sport, because Shane, we're pretty much family. We are family, and he puts his body on the line almost every day and during fight camp. So it's a really team effort, and there's no one out there that can hold pads for me. So, you know, looking back at, you know, it's a surreal moment, but at the same time, you can, you do believe that you've won it, or because you did win it, but because of all the hard work that you've put in, but also that your coach has put into you. So, yeah, like, yeah, even sometimes I still think about it, like, oh, wow. Yeah, I am the Australian champion. That's pretty cool.
And still current, because you haven't been able to. I mean, you've been trying to defend it, but you haven't been able to defend it yet. So you're the current reigning Australian champion at the moment, man.
But I want to defend it because, like, yeah, I've already beaten one person for the Australian title. So even though I still currently hold it, I'd like to defend it as much as possible to, you know, solidify that I am the Australian champion. And I also want to collect the other Australian belts, you know, the ISCA and the WMC. And I think I don't know all of them, but there's a few of them out there I would like
WMC, and I think, a few others,
Yeah, so that's on the bucket list.
I mean, I don't doubt. Just hopefully people will step up and fight you, you know, and will allow you to actually compete for those belts.
100%. Me too. It's been a mission.
Was it this year that you fought in the IFMA World Championships? Was it this year?
In Dubai?
Yeah, Abu Dhabi, wasn't it?
Yeah, Abu Dhabi. Yeah, that was last year.
That was last year, okay.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I can't remember which years. My years always get mixed up. So, yeah, how was that experience? Because obviously that's very different as well. How did your style go there? Just tell me about the overall experience of fighting in the tournament style that you did there.
Yeah, a bit different fighting tournament style. It feels like it's more like fighting. You know, so you have professional fighting, and then you have like Olympic fighting. It felt more like Olympic fighting.
Right. More point based, more like you don't want to go there and actually hurt. Like you can't.
You're still padded up, so you've got your head guard on, which was strange because I've been fighting out of that for a long time, and your elbow pads and wait, I'm trying to remember. I think no, you had the full kit. You had your head guard, your elbow pads, and your shin pads. Just no stomach pad. So that was a bit different. But I had my first fight against a German, and style prevailed, which was awesome. And then I had my second fight, and I think 2 days after the first fight, and I ended up losing against the the champion that won the whole event for my weight division. It was the first round. Because in Dubai as well, so we were watching the fights. They actually stop fights early if you're bleeding. So there was a few fights that we saw there where people bleeding from the nose and mouth, and I'd wave the fight off, and that person would win it. So what had happened was I caught a good right hand to the nose first round, and I started bleeding and out of my nose, and the official or the doctor had pulled me aside, and I felt like they were about to wave the fight off. I said, "No, I'm good, I'm fine. Let me continue. It's just a blood nose," and they're like, you know, checking me all out. And then I was like, shit, I need to pull the trigger. Like I'm worried, like, you know, if I continue bleeding, that they're going to stop the fight. And so I pulled the trigger. I went in with a big right elbow. He came in with the cross, and his fist met my head before my elbow met his head.
Classic story there. Yeah.
And I got dropped for an 8 count, and that was the end of it, unfortunately. Yeah, so it was short-lived, but it was definitely a fun experience. And
good experience overall.
First time being outside of Australia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I get to go to Dubai, like one of the most wealthiest countries in the world.
But it sounds like you had a pretty good time, man. It's just like, even like I said, even if you don't get all the wins, it's just the experience overall it's priceless.
No, 100%, yeah. I'm not sure if I would go back doing that kind of style of fighting, because of that style. Like it's more point based and it felt more like Olympic fighting than professional fighting. But I won't turn down an offer if it does come up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mate, I have so many questions I want to ask you, and I know we're running out of time. One thing I did want to ask you, my first time that I ever got to see you fight was, I think it was Ignition, and you probably remember, it was probably one of your first few fights.
Yeah, I probably lost.
No, the thing is, you were dominating that fight, but the judges gave it to the other guy because of a bit of, you could argue, bad sportsmanship, right?
Yeah, I know what fight you're talking about.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you a bit about that, because I've always just been curious, right? Because you seem like anyone that's watching this, right, a real nice guy. But obviously, that nice guy wasn't there in the ring, and sometimes you got to be a bad guy to do what we do, to jump in the ring.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if I remember correctly, I can't remember if there was a hit after the bell or something, but there was like flipping off the crowd, like you were going off of the crowd because the crowd's going off for you.
Yeah.
Just tell me what was going through your head at the time, and like how do you look at that now?
Yeah. So I was, I had 2 losses in a row my first fight, and then I think I came and I had 2 wins, and I think it was another Ignition fight that I had, and I was really hungry. I was really hungry. I had like I had a really good pep talk by my coach. I had a really good pep talk. I was really hungry, and I just kind of it was just almost instinct. Like I wanted to kill him, not like physically kill him, but to go in there and like show him who I am. And I kind of just didn't think what I was doing. I just kind of went for it. Like what had happened was he had either tripped or fell to the ground, or I hit him on the way down on the ground. And then because his bum was the ground, I had run up and uppercut him while he was on the ground. And I got deducted points for it. So which is understandable, which I should have been, because I had hit him on the ground on purpose, just in the heat of the moment.
Just in the moment, yeah.
And there was a bit of bad sportsmanship afterwards, because I did feel like I had won that fight, but because I had points deducted and the crowd booing at me, then it was a bit irresponsible of me. I was kind of flipping off the crowd. But it's just one of those moments that that happened, but you wish it never happened. Yeah.
So you wish it never happened. If you would go back, you would probably change the way you handled that.
Yeah, I wouldn't definitely. I might have hit the dude on the ground still, but out of instinct. But I wouldn't have flipped the crowd off. Yeah.
Just one of those things. I guess you just learn, right?
Yeah.
But like I said, you're in the moment. It's like you've just been fighting someone, right? Both of you going as hard as you can, to then switch from that to like, oh, everything's cool. It's hard, man. But yeah, it's pretty cool that you can look at that and be like, yeah, that wasn't the right thing to do.
No. And I love the crowd. I feed off them now. The energy, the good and the bad. Now I love it when people boo me. Like I feed off it. I'm like, yeah, boo me, and and I'll prove you wrong. So. You do. So that's cool. You get people that hate it and love it. So any news is good news.
What completely?
No,
if you watched it, you said you've watched a few of these.
Yeah,
going completely off now. Do you believe there is a meaning to life? And if so, what do you think the meaning of life is?
Oof, that's deep. Meaning of life. I don't think anyone can actually give a meaning of life, because no one knows what that really is. Everyone's asking that question. For me, I reckon just live life to your fullest. Do what you love. You're only young for so long, so I still feel like I've got a good, strong 10 years in me to do this. So that's what I want to focus on. I want to leave some sort of a legacy behind. So for me, that's I guess my terms of meaning of life is to live it to its fullest and enjoy it, because you're only here for so long. I'll be happy if I live to 80, 90. The way I see it, I'm already a quarter way through my life.
Oh, how old are you? Do you mind if I ask?
25.
25. Okay, yeah. Yep. So quarter. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. If you live to 100, for sure. Yeah,
but that's which I probably doubt with the abuse I've done to my body in the past.
Oh man, hopefully you live a nice long life. But you're kind of living your, I guess, by your definition of what the meaning of life is, you're kind of doing it, right? You're trying to make the most of life. You're going out there, you're competing, so it's pretty cool.
Yep.
Last question.
No, go for it.
Well, this is more of a statement. Oh, no, it's a question. Has anyone ever told you that you look like Zach De La Rocha? I don't know if I'm saying his name properly.
From Rage Against the Machine?
Yeah, I'm sure you get that all the time.
I have a few times. Yeah. funny, when I was getting my dreadlocks done, who's my family friend, Jules, House of Dreads, shout out, sorry. She's like, how do you want your dreads to look? And I looked up that dude.
Oh, you looked up Rage Against the Machine?
Yeah. And I was like, I want them like this. And then so
Yeah.
she'd done them. I'm like, oh, you're a legend. And then, it's been a few times, out at night or out at a party, and like, oh, you look like so-and-so. I'm like, oh, cheers, man.
Yeah. So it was intentional, wasn't it? I was like,
The hair was intentional, to look
okay.
like that. Yep.
Yeah, because it was funny before we knew your name, because obviously your name's, I guess, in the Muay Thai community is well known now. But when the first few fights, obviously your fighting style and the dreads, stood out. So we're like, oh, the Rage Against the Machine guy. That was your nickname for my club for a while.
Oh,
so
cool.
it's pretty cool that it's like, it was intentional.
Yeah, that my coach actually, Shane, gave me my fight name during one of my fight camps. It's a spin on words. One, because I got dreaded hair, and two, because he absolutely hates holding pads for me. Yeah. So he knows when he sees my car in the car park and it's fight camp, he's like, oh shit.
Here you go.
We're both in for a tough night. So yeah.
Anyone that's wanting to obviously keep up with your journey and your fights, what's the best way for them to do that? Is it through Instagram, Facebook? How can they follow you?
Yeah, I've got a Facebook and I've got an Instagram. I've obviously been quiet on it because I haven't fought since early this year. I think it was around February or so. So it's been a few months. But yeah, I'm on Instagram, Nathan_Embleton. Or Facebook, Nathan Clark. So yeah, it's a different name. I apologise to confuse you, but yes.
All good, man. Thank you so much for coming down, man. I definitely want to do this again. I felt like I had so much more that I wanted to talk about, but I had to cut it a bit short.
No problem.
Thanks so much, dude.
Thank you. Appreciate it.